been on Baker Mayfield, his bandwagon for the last couple of months, telling people just let him play, and you'll find out soon enough what you need to find out about. I didn't expect this in any way, shape, or form. What was that yesterday?
Yeah, you feel like a pretty smart guy, don't you?
Well, after a game like that, sure.
Yeah. I think what it was is an offense that's starting to get used to playing together and playing against a defense that they knew was incredibly vulnerable against the pass. The notion that this is a running team is not a wrong one. It's just the way they play some teams. They will throw early to get a lead and then use that punishing running game to exhaust the clock. And it looked pretty smart yesterday. I know some people, and I've heard from a couple, weren't very happy with the way the second half went. But as I said to you earlier today, if the biggest issue is the Browns getting up 38-7 and then taking the foot off the gas, that doesn't rank in the top 10 of issues that they've had over here over the years.
No, in fact, you might suggest that Kevin Stefanski should have maybe taken somebody, one or two players out, so they wouldn't get hurt with a new game coming up next Sunday. I wouldn't have done that, but I would consider that before I'd say let's not take the gas off.
Look,
But you're
I don't think they're as good defensively as they looked in that first half. I think we all know that. We've watched them all year long. But certainly Stefanski gets a lot of credit for, we always talk about identity, and now they have an identity. They're a running team. Well, when you go into a game against a team that doesn't have a pass rush and can't cover in the back in the secondary, you'd be silly to make their job easier by just handing off. So I think a lot of people should be really excited about that game plan yesterday because it showed Stefanski's willing to think on his feet, and this is a team, or he's trying to groom this as a team that can beat people in a lot of different ways.
Yeah, when you think of game plans and rookie coaches and all, I wouldn't expect that most rookie coaches would change the game plan mid-game. And and what you're suggesting is he's got so much confidence in himself and the people around him, both the players and the coaching staff. And he goes out of his way, by the way, to give kudos to the coaching staff. I don't know if that's just the way he does it or if that's absolutely true, but he gains some friends in the coach's locker room. I can tell you that when he does things like that. But I think we saw. I mean, don't expect Baker Mayfield to do this each and every week, but when you start saying things like, well, he threw 4 touchdown passes in the first quarter. The only Brown quarterback to ever do that was Otto Graham. I don't know if Baker Mayfield has any idea who Otto Graham is, but he now knows that he's in pretty good company.
Yeah, listen, I thought it was I know people say it was a statement win and all that. And I just think this is a really odd season with a lot of challenges for each organization. Some teams are not going to get up for games because of preparation, because of just the way the season is falling. And I'm not saying that Tennessee did that, but they certainly obviously got knocked back on their heels. I think the coaching staff deserves a lot of credit for, having these awkward, preparation weeks where you don't know if you're going to have everybody. Next day, the facility's closed. And so to me, the big takeaway wasn't so much that this team, stamped itself Super Bowl contenders or whatever. I just think the biggest takeaway was that they know that in a situation where they need Baker Mayfield to be great, he can be great. And that's what he was yesterday. There's no other way to explain it.
And that's after losing the first pass that Peoples Jones should have had. It was basically an easy pass. Could have been 5 touchdowns in that first half. But I think you're absolutely right. It was a statement game to state that they can do a lot of different things out there to hurt you. And I think that gives the defensive coordinator lots to think about when they're setting up to take on the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the last year at this time they were forcing the ball to Odell Beckham Jr. Those two guys clearly hadn't, spent a lot of time together developing much chemistry on the field. And I think teams are a lot more dangerous when you can look up and down their roster and see guys that are capable of making plays, and as opposed to one guy that they have to rely on all the time. And I think that's what this wide receiver group has become.
No, earlier in the season though, when Beckham got hurt, there was a lot of talk that well maybe that'll be better for Baker Mayfield because he doesn't have to appease OBJ. And they can deny it all they want, but the proof is in the pudding. Something was going on there.
Yeah, listen, I think we all know it would be kind of silly to say that a team with taking Odell Beckham Jr.'s immense talent off the football field makes you a better team. I won't go that far, but I do think that it has allowed Baker Mayfield in some ways to look around the field a little more and not feel that sort of unspoken, you know, pressure to get the ball to not only just pressure, but it makes sense. You want to get the ball to a guy like Beck. So I just think that they've made the most of losing a talent like that by quantity now, and finding out that some of the quantity of wide receivers are pretty good quality wide receivers too.